But guess what? We can do all of that, but we are obviously, especially within the Middle East, Africa ecosystem, a lot of the countries are dependent on a hydrocarbon economy, so oil prices are currently extremely volatile. We also see currency devaluation taking place in a lot of areas. So clearly a lot of the Middle Eastern CIOs suddenly realized that their board or their CEO is putting pressure on them to optimize their IT budgets, right? But while on one side they have pressure to optimize their IT budget, on the other side, here are the plethora of challenges that these CIOs face. They have to ensure that they give their customers a secure environment. Now a customer can be the employee or the supplier or the end user. They have to ensure that there's no, they do not diminish in terms of IT performance, and they have to also ensure that all the systems and applications are available anytime, anywhere, and as and when customers demand for it. So clearly, on one side you see an ecosystem where people are under pressure to cut costs. On the other side, you see the same ecosystem is under pressure to innovate and ensure performance day in and day out. And the thing is that digital transformation is very much a reality within the Middle East ecosystem, right? As you can see, this was a survey that we did earlier this year during our flagship summit, and only 8% of the CIOs in attendance were of the opinion that they weren't undertaking digital transformation. So think about how many organizations are actually thinking that they need to reinvent themselves or change themselves to stay relevant. But the reality of the matter is that digital transformation puts a lot of pressure on data centers, right? Because on one side, organizations do acknowledge that they have to make use of their data centers far more efficiently and effectively, which is giving rise to a lot of investments around data centers, but clearly from a cost optimization front, software is increasingly becoming the layer that they want to harness by seeking out software-defined storage, software-defined data centers at large, right? So this is how you want to gain access to those functionalities. On one side, you have these investments taking place. On the other side, of course, the one thing you can't negate is the fact that disruptions are unpredictable, majority of them. I mean, the chances of a natural disaster are far lesser, but think about it when you have unplanned disruption, and the most common one being planned downtime. This is when most of the people within an organization start complaining to IT as to why can't I access my system, despite IT making all the relevant measures to communicate so. But the impact of a disruption is far-reaching. It can have financial repercussions, it can have reputational repercussions, and of course even legal implications as well. So you want to ask, what is the price of downtime? Now this study that I'm referencing here, as IDC, we spoke to the Fortune 1000 companies. So these are extremely large organizations who have DevOps environments and so forth. But as you can see, an unplanned application downtime can cost a very large organization in the higher ends of $2.5 billion per year. An infrastructure failure was impacting them at nearly $100,000 per hour. And when it came to critical application failure, it went up to as much as $1 million per hour. Now, a critical application going down can be due to several reasons. It can be from the fact that you had a very unstable DevOps environment and they did not do their due diligence, and it can also come from an infrastructure standpoint of view. And what is interesting to notice is that as organizations go undertake digital transformation, they're clearly going to be building a new range of apps, and they're going to move into a far more open ecosystem, right? You see a lot of data aggregation investments that are going to take place, a lot of application integration that is going to take place as well. So when systems and applications are going to be this interlinked, imagine if one goes down, what is the impact going to be?